Go ahead, sir.
Uh, I'm very sorry for that he died. I didn't. This was an accident. This was not a guy driving down, mowing people down drunk. This was just an accident. And I'm sorry. What do you want me to do?
Hey there, welcome to the Courtroom Files. So this hearing that we have from Judge McNally is a sentencing hearing. We have an older defendant who unfortunately was involved in a motor vehicle accident that resulted in somebody's death. And it's a highly emotional hearing. There's victim impact statements that go on, but this is difficult for the judge because he realizes that there was no intent here, but there was still, by the letter of the law, a crime. Unfortunately, though, as you'll find out, the defendant makes things even harder because there's been some issues with him not showing up for court, as you'll learn, which, regardless of intent, doesn't exactly make him look good. So take a look at this whole thing. Let us know what you think in the comments. Did the judge end up making the right decision on sentencing? Do you think that this was truly just an accident, or does this defendant have other problems in his life that we should maybe consider? Just let us know your thoughts. Please do put a thumbs up on the video if you enjoy it. Consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. Let's go ahead and roll the game film.
Defendant pled to moving violation causing death on July 30. It was a no contest plea. He was supposed to be here August 27th. He didn't show up for sentencing. I set a bond. The police were looking for him. I was getting letters from the mother through the court administrator saying how ill he was and sick he was, and they wanted to do it by Zoom. And I don't remember all the correspondence. I just remember telling him at one point, either got to come in person or post a cash bond. I got multiple letters through the court administrator. I was not appreciative of that because that's not the way we do business. You don't get to correspond with the judge. But I had the court administrator handle them. Mr. Martin did not come in. The police were looking for him. I think I signed a ping search warrant. I could be wrong about that, to determine where he might be. There was complaints from the wife about how the police were swarming their neighborhood, and it's like, really? I don't want to hear that because people got to show up in court. But defendant, anyway, was brought in on a warrant. Whether he was arrested on the 19th or 20th or 18th, I don't know, but I set a $50,000 cash or surety bond on the 20th. Now, I'm going to let the victim speak. I'm told that there's 4 victims. I want to be, is that true or not?
So, Judge, there's 4 victim impact statements that are going to be heard today.
All right.
And there's something I'd like to state on the record prior to that when the court is ready.
Okay.
Thank you.
So I want everybody to be respectful here. Okay? This is an emotional case, and it's understandable why. It's understandable. But this is a courtroom. I expect everybody to act as such. This is not a this is a very difficult decision for a judge. There's no intent. But I want to listen, and I want everybody to be respectful on both sides. And if I see anybody disagreeing with, animated or verbally, they're going to be kicked out of the courtroom. Okay? That goes for the defendant's side. It goes for the victim side. I don't want to hear speaking. I want us to be respectful. So I would like the first 4 to come up as soon as Mr. Muhammad, you said you wanted to say something.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Just have a seat right there.
Is this about your position on sentencing or what?
Yes. And
Well, why don't you let the victim speak first? Unless you feel inclined to go ahead, I guess. It doesn't really matter.
yeah, I'd rather
Go ahead.
get ahead of it. And so, Judge, in this case, I believe the defendant has shown a blatant disregard for the court and the seriousness of his actions. His failure to appear for sentencing, lack of remorse, and almost an 8-month capious status reflects a troubling indifference to the legal process In light of this, I am respectfully requesting that the court impose a jail sentence of at least 1 year in this case, and a minimum of 2 years probation upon his release. I think it's appropriate based on the circumstances and the lack of actions by the defendant, as well as his actions in this case. Additionally, I'm requesting that the court order the defendant to pay the victim's family for the burial related expenses, any out-of-pocket expenses sustained by the victim's family in regards to the burial with this case.
They should have been covered, were they not, by no fault law? They should have been. I could be wrong about that. I haven't done that in 30 some years, but I think they should have been covered.
So Judge, I was informed that there was an amount of $3,000 paid by the victim's family.
So what I'll do is I'll follow up with a restitution hearing.
Understood.
So I just want to make sure. Go ahead.
Thank you. And I also wanted to bring to the court's attention that we believe that a no contact, sir, I'm trying to speak.
Wait a minute.
I'm requesting that a no contact order be put in place if it's not already in place, both directly through the defendant and any third party witnesses. And the reason I state this is because it's been brought to my attention by the victim's family that there's been some communications from the defendant's side to the victim's side, alleging some lies and things of that nature. However, I'll leave that to the victim to put on the record because, again, it goes down to some speculation on my end. Judge, the victim's family is present today, and though they were not physically harmed, the emotional trauma they suffered is profound. They wish to deliver their victim impact statement to ensure their loved one's voice is heard. We ask the court to impose a sentence that reflects the seriousness of the crime and the lasting impact on this family, which is why, Judge, we are requesting the defendant be sentenced to at least 2 years of probation and the 1 year in jail.
If he serves 1 year in jail, why am I going to have him on probation?
Well, I think it's appropriate. I think
the max is a year.
the max is for 1 year in jail. But I think the court has discretion to impose.
Okay, good enough. I don't agree with you, but go ahead. Mr. Carmen, you and your client come up here and you tell me what you'd like to say.
I would agree with the court that, the 1 year maximum sentence in this case, and also, probation on top of that would be just cumulative, at best. I know that, since the original sentencing report from last August, Mr. Martin did not appear for court timely, but the original recommendation was, from probation for a year.
No
That'd be a pretty
jail,
radical departure.
community service.
Yes, no jail, community service, and to take, I believe, a driver's responsibility type course. But, to go from 12 months probation to 12 months jail, that's a big departure. He's been in custody for 20 days. What happened with the original sentencing, Your Honor, was that it was originally scheduled for August 20th. The court ended up, I believe Your Honor was on vacation, so the court ended up, there was no court that day. So Mr. Martin actually appeared to the court, but no
You're
one
not
was
going to
here.
help yourself if he starts to tell me that this was my fault that he didn't show up this long.
No.
So I don't know that we need to cover this. If you want to cover it, I'm not going to stop you, but give me a break. I got communication after communication from his wife through the court administrator.
Yeah.
If you want to cover it, I'm not going to stop you.
Understood, Your Honor.
But give me a break. The court administrator advised me on as to what was being said, and that's all I'm going to. Not on the merits. Not on the merits, mind you. But if he wants to go that route, go ahead.
If I could finish.
Yeah.
So no one ended up being at the court, including myself, on August 20th. And then it was set over for 1 week. My client indicated to me he didn't get the notice to appear until after August 27th.
That day, then, right?
I'm sorry?
He came in the day he got the notice, though, right?
No, Your Honor, if I could finish.
No, go ahead. I'm telling you, you're going to agitate me if you start talking about how he didn't get it until later. He's had 8 months. They've been playing cat and mouse with me since August. The police department was looking for him. you know, I get in letters like this is just a misdemeanor and that kind of thing. Go ahead. I'll let you finish. I won't say another word.
Thank you. As I've gone over with my client, that did not absolve him of his responsibility to call the court, otherwise inquire as to when his sentencing would be. His wife had been in communication with the court. He acknowledges that. He knows he could have done more. He was scared, extremely scared. So there's no excuse on his end that we're going to proffer. Just want to remind the court in this matter that he has no CCH whatsoever. This was an accident. There was no allegations of, you know, him being under the influence of anything, alcohol or controlled substance. Since this accident, which was in December of 2023, he has not worked. He has not been able to work. You know, he has had a heart condition that was exacerbated by this. You know, it's taken an emotional and physical toll on him as well. He's on does suffer from congestive heart failure. He sees a heart specialist and a vascular doctor over this condition every month. So he's not able to work. He has no income. He lives with his wife. He is willing to pay for the funeral costs, but would need a payment plan. He can pay it in installments. And, but Your Honor, as the court indicated, I believe the court said last time, you know, quote unquote, you know, playing possum, you know, he was scared. And
Well, then why go into all this other nonsense? That's what my issue is. It's clear he was scared. It's clear he was scared. It's clear he was avoiding the court. So I don't want to hear how I was on vacation or he got his notice late. That was not what caused this case to be delayed until April. It was the fact that he was hiding.
I agree. I'm just filling you in.
I know.
On the fact
I
that
get
he
it.
was
I'm not
here that
blaming
day
you.
because I didn't know that.
Lawyers repeat things that their clients tell them. And, but Mr. Muhammad,
And Judge, the idea of being scared, I'm not sure is what's applicable here, because the comments that the victim's family received after the fact doesn't show scared. It shows a different theory, and I think that when the court hears the impact statements, they'll have a different view on what really played out.
All right.
Thank you.
I'll come back to you after the victims speak. Okay. Would you two like to have a seat or do you want to wait there?
We'll sit.
Okay. All right. So I don't care if all four of you come up at the same time. I don't care if one of you come up at a time. And if you want, two of you can go in the jury box. That door pulls out. So two of you can go right in there and have a seat until it's time for your turn to speak. And the other two can stay on the outside. So you guys can go right over there to the mic. That's a microphone. Or you can stay there for now. Go ahead. Tell me your names first. What's your name, sir?
My name is Meher Rabah Nasser.
Okay. Can you spell that for me?
Yeah, Maher.
Last name?
Rabah-Nasr.
And what is your relationship to the decedent?
Danny was my cousin.
And what's your name, sir?
My name is Daniel Rabah-Nasr.
Can you spell your last name?
Yep, Rabah-Nasr.
And what is your relationship?
I'm his brother.
You.
Dina Rabah-Nasr,
D-I-N-A?
Deena.
D-E-N-A?
Same last name.
Yep.
Nasr. I'm his sister.
All right.
Maya Rabah-Nasr,
Can you spell, is it M?
M-A-Y-A.
Maya, and you are a sister?
Yes.
Well, I'm very sorry for your loss. And I mean that. Who wants to start?
I'll start it. Your Honor and the members of the court, I am the younger brother of Danny who was taken from us December 23rd, 2023. James's action has destroyed my family and left us struggling with grief and pain that will never go away. James didn't just take my brother, he took away our peace, our future, and my best friend. The fact that he didn't show up to any of the court dates and chose to hide instead of facing what he has done has made everything so much worse. He has shown no remorse, no responsibility, no respect for the lives that he has ruined. The emotional toll that this has taken on me and my family is beyond words. I have trouble coping with the loss of my brother every day. My mental health has been deeply affected, and I'm constantly anxious and angry. I feel like I can't fully move forward because of the pain and the unanswered questions. My family feels the same. We are left in a state of grief, struggling to keep going while James hides from justice. Losing Danny has created a hole in my life that will never be filled. It's something I will carry with me every single day. The impact on my mental health and the damage on my family are things I'll just never fully recover from. James's actions and his refusal to take responsibility have made everything so much harder for all of us. I ask the court to think about deep emotional pain James has caused, not just by taking Danny's life, but by making us suffer even more through the avoidance of responsibility. We are left to pick up the pieces of our lives, and they will never be the same.
Thank you.
Your Honor, I stand before you today a shattered member of a family irrevocably broken by the actions of the defendant. The loss of our beloved Danny has left a gaping wound in all of our lives, and a wound that time will never fully heal. The vibrant tapestry of our family, once woven with laughter, love, and shared dreams, now bears a permanent tear and a stark reminder of the senseless violence that stole him from us. Danny was more than just a brother, son, cousin, nephew, coworker, or now uncle. He was the heart of our family. His infectious laugh filled every room he entered, and his bright spirit was a beacon of joy for all who were fortunate enough to cross paths with him. And these precious memories, once a source of comfort, are now laced with unbearable pain and a constant ache that shadows our every waking moment. The defendant's reckless actions didn't just end Danny's life, they shattered ours. His father, once a jovial man, now retreats into silence, consumed by grief. His sister, just recently blessed with a beautiful baby boy, now faces the bittersweet joy of new motherhood without her beloved brother to share in the celebration. Her son will never know his uncle, never experience the unique bond that they would have shared, and all because of the defendant's selfish and violent choices. Our entire family has been robbed of a future filled with shared milestones, celebrations, and simple moments of togetherness. But the defendant's cruelty didn't just end with the fatal impact. The subsequent year of evading justice has compounded our suffering immeasurably. The constant delays, the uncertainty, the blatant disregard for the law and for our pain have added layers of insult to our injury. Each court date postponed, each missed appearance felt like another blow and another twist of the knife in our already grieving hearts. It sent a message that our loss and that Danny's life was somehow insignificant, secondary to the defendant's self-preservation. Your Honor, we understand that no sentence can bring back Danny, but we implore you to consider the full weight of the defendant's actions, the violent taking of a precious life, the immeasurable suffering inflicted upon our family, and the prolonged agony caused by his blatant disregard for the legal process. We ask you to deliver the maximum sentence allowable by law. This sentence must serve as a just punishment for the defendant's crimes, a deterrent to others who might consider such reckless disregard for human life, and a measure of justice for Danny and our devastated family. It is the only way to convey that the life of Danny mattered, that our pain matters, and that the law will not tolerate such callous disregard for life and justice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Want me to just stand here?
Yeah, whatever you want, whatever you feel more comfortable with.
Well,
Start out with your name again,
Yeah.
just for
My
the
name
record.
is Dina. I'm Danny's sister. I originally had so much to say this time last year. I can sit here and tell you how amazing Danny is, but I'm sure it shows and everyone here knows that. The amount of support that we've received for our brother is amazing. Here we are a year and 4 months later, after Danny's passing, and I feel so drained physically and emotionally. For those that don't know, Your Honor, I'm sure everyone knows, this man was driving with no insurance, expired tabs, and all these quote unquote health issues. Should have never been behind the wheel, drove into oncoming traffic, which was Danny's lane. Why were you even driving that night? That's a danger to society, people like that. are reckless and careless. You not only disrespected the court, the judge, the police, and my family, but most importantly, my brother Danny. You have shown that you have no regard for human life. How do you live with yourself? Your wife got on live television to tell the world that you were in so much pain that you keep talking about, but yet you denied the ambulance that night. What were you hiding? Your neighbor said you were out lying in the middle of the street, drunk. That doesn't sound like someone that was in pain to me. I hate to call this an accident because your actions after the fact speak otherwise. We are tired of the lies, Your Honor. The world needs less people like this that are so careless that could just take a life and think that it just doesn't matter. Not to mention that you guys put me through this whole trial pregnant the entire time. And also not to mention the harassment we've gotten from the daughter online, saying that my brother was drinking and driving and took his own life. This is what they're putting out there, ruining my brother's innocent pain. And saying that we're going after money. Isn't my brother losing his life enough? Your Honor, it's in your hands and I trust you will give the punishment that is due. The effects that this has had on me mentally, postpartum, my family, I trust that you will do what is right and give him the punishment that he deserves.
Good morning, Your Honor. My name is Maya Nasser, Danny's little sister. Danny is more than just my brother, he's my best friend. Danny and I were the only ones still living at home with our parents. He was my favorite person, always having a movie that we need, taking me shopping, taking me to school, and taking me to my friend's house, and doing everything for me. At 8:30 p.m., we heard an ambulance from our house right down the street, but we did not think it was Danny. At 10 p.m., my mom had a phone call from the hospital saying Danny was in critical condition. The pain of that car ride was unforgettable. Walking into that hospital with a brother and walking out the next day without one is a pain that will hurt me for the rest of my life. I had so many things yet to do with my beautiful brother Danny. Our birthday parties and holidays are ruined forever. I only got to spend 13 years of my life with him, not knowing that a few days after Christmas, I would have to prepare a funeral speech for my beautiful brother. I'm now afraid to stay at home because I know his room is right next to mine and it's not forever empty. My mom drives me the long way to school just so she moves past where the accident happened. I am now unable to focus on school, and my mom sent me to a therapist. I hated it all. Nothing could help. I just needed to talk to my brother Danny, and I know I cannot do that anymore. Danny will never get to see me graduate high school, go to college, or get married. Your Honor, this man doesn't care that he went into Danny's lane. He only cares that he got caught. I wish for justice for my brother. I love you forever, Danny. I'd do anything and everything for you. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very, very much. You can have a seat there. Thank you very much. Mr. Kerman, once you approach the podium with your client. Tell me whether there's anything else you'd like to say.
Your Honor, I've said my piece. Now I'll let Mr. Martin say his.
Go ahead, sir.
I'm very sorry for that he died. I didn't. This was an accident. This was not a guy driving down, mowing people down drunk. This was just an accident. And I'm sorry. What do you want me to do? I got scared. I did. I kept hiding. It was wrong. It was the wrong thing to do. But you're gonna crucify me for an accident? That's all I really can say, because I don't know what else to say.
Anything else, Mr. Mohammed?
Yes, just one last thing. Judge, In this case, the accident has a repercussion, and which is why the law is that he could be sentenced up to 1 year in jail. And I believe not just based on his actions in the actual case, but the lack of afterwards, the lack of remorse, the lack of accountability, all of that, I think should reflect the 1 year sentence. There was a disregard not just for the law, but for the court and the court system. Now, even though we're respectfully requesting a 1 year sentence be imposed on the defendant, let's all not forget that the defendant's actions sentenced the victim's family to a life sentence. And so I'll leave it at that, Judge, and I'll respect the court's decision. Thank you.
Anything else, Mr. Carmen?
Nothing further from the defense, Your Honor.
Anything else, Mr. Martin?
I'm sorry to the family.
All right, you can both have a seat. I'm not going to lie to anybody here. This is difficult. Mr. Muhammad, are you done? Or did you have something else? Did you have something else?
I just wanted to confirm with the family that there's nothing additional I should raise to the court's attention.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Nothing further, Judge. Thank you.
This is not easy. This is very difficult. I can see that this family is torn up, and rightfully so. He was a young man. It's sad. We deal with these kinds of decisions every single day. Some days not as serious as this sentence because I can see how torn up this family is. On the one hand, I have a defendant who crossed the center line. There's no reasonable explanation for why he did it other than the fact that he said blacked out. He thought he blacked out. He didn't know how the collision occurred. It caused the death of a young man. I have a family that's torn up. I have a defendant who was scared, which I believe. I'm not going to hold things that were stated in letters like this is just a misdemeanor that were made by the defendant's wife against the defendant. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be making a decision based upon emotion. I'm not going to excuse your conduct, Mr. Martin, because I think one thing they say is correct. Your absconding tormented this family further. That's what it did. It's one thing to make a mistake. It's the second way to go about it that justifies, well, let me rephrase that. It's one thing to make a mistake. Acknowledging the mistake is one thing. Showing a disregard is quite another. On the other hand, ladies and gentlemen, one thing that needs to be not overlooked here, as much as you don't want to hear it, this was an accident. He wasn't drunk. There's no evidence he was drunk. There's no evidence that he was under the influence of drugs or alcohol. There's no evidence that he intended to drive across the center line, although that's really bad. I don't understand how people can do that unless they're totally not paying attention. The other thing that can't be overlooked is he is in feeble shape physically. There's no question about it. So I've kind of tormented myself with this just to the extent that nobody thinks that I did. This is nothing I was looking forward to, but I'm going to do the best I can. And I'm not going to be swayed by politics. I never have, and I'm not starting today. 2 years probation. You cannot leave the state without the consent of the court. You cannot violate any law or ordinance of any unit of government. If you change your address, your place of employment, or home telephone number, you must notify the probation department. You have to report as directed. Mr. Carmen, I arraigned him again on March the 20th, which would be 19 days ago. Was that the day he was brought into custody, or did he spend a day or two in custody before they brought him in? I'm trying to figure out what kind of jail credit he gets.
Brownstown overnight and then county since.
I'm sorry? You were in Brownstown overnight?
Yeah, and then the county ever since.
Okay.
20 days.
I believe it's 20 days, Your Honor.
Tomorrow. 20 days.
Tomorrow will be 20 days, he says.
Well, it's actually today. It's including today. All right. And I'm asking everybody, I'm sure there's going to be people disagree with what I do here. It's okay. I'm asking you to go out. I'm going to ask you to go out in the parking lot and express your frustration. Not in here, please. You didn't help yourself by not showing up. Here's what I'm doing. $100, 24 months probation, as I already said. Those are the general terms. I'm not going to what's the status of his license right now? So he's suspended without.
Since till August.
Correct. All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to order 120 days jail. That will be 40 now. Credit 20, serve 20. 70 more will be on house arrest. You'll be able to leave your house only for medical appointments. 10 days of community service. And I'm going to give you, that's 80 hours of community service. I'm going to give you until, I'm going to say, we're just going to make it by November the 1st because you're going to be in custody in your house for 70 days. So I want to be clear. You're going to spend 20 days more in jail. You're going to spend 70 days on house arrest. So you're going to be in your house for 70 days. But you can leave for medical appointments. That's the only reason you can leave. And then 10 days of community service. So 80 hours of community service by November 1. I don't really see the need under these circumstances. I'm not going to order the level 2 based. Yeah. Level 2 decision-based driving program. You're to attend that, but we'll set that up after after your house arrest time. So I'll repeat once more. 120 days jail. There will be 40 forthwith. You get 20 days credit, so you're going to serve 20 more. You're going to serve 70 on house arrest. And then 10 days of community service by November 1. Attend the level 2 decision driving program through Class A Training Center. Again, 100 fines, 100 costs, 75 victims' rights, $50 justice assessment, 3 1/4. Probation fees are $480. Plus the screening fee. So you got $385, $785, $865. If you violate, you could get 1 year. You have 21 days to appeal, 14 days to apply for a court-appointed lawyer for purposes of appeal. You're also going to be ordered to pay restitution as determined by the court. I'm gonna set it up on a Tuesday. So why don't you give me a date and you guys can see if you can work it out. If it's true that he didn't have insurance, I got to remind myself of the priorities, but there's a lot of different aspects here. But the one aspect is that I'm not sure who will be paying the restitution or not. It might be somebody else in the household. I cannot remember that. But I'm talking about the burial expenses. So that's what I'm going to do. And we'll set a date unless you're agreeing to it.
My client is willing to pay the $3,000 for the funeral/burial expenses. He can pay $250 a month.
Is that 3,000 total? Is that correct, Mr. Mohammed? Is it 3,000?
Yes, Judge. Victims.
I mean, if you
families
guys don't
nodding
have a
their head.
problem, that's fine. 3,000 in restitution.
And Judge, if the court can enlighten me if whether or not there's a no contact order in this.
Hang on a second. Thank you.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to set up a payment plan.
You can
No.
pay $250 a month.
Well, he's gonna have to do a little better than that. I mean, we do have 2 years probation though, but that makes it $3,865. No contact with relatives of victims' family. Now, I mean, this is what I mean by that. Not direct or indirect. That means anybody having contact, and I'm talking about Facebook postings or anything else, that are going to be seen by the victim's family, that will be deemed a violation. And Mr. Martin will face a probation violation. No contact, direct or indirect. I'm going to urge all the people on this side of the courtroom to put this behind them and not be sending any emails, phone calls, texts, Facebook posts, Instagram. I could care less. None of it. We understand one another? Good.
Does that go for both sides? Can they not?
Folks, there's nothing I can do to bring back your son, brother, sister. I'm sorry. I know it's difficult. I think it's best that everybody avoid contact. I can't order you not to have contact, but I think it's best, frankly, that both sides. I can order them not to have contact because that's a violation as against Mr. Martin, because that would be direct or indirect contact initiated by him. That's my sentence. I wish everybody well. I guess I can do the $250 a month. I want you to understand, folks, whoever paid the bill was last employed in June of 23, and the only thing the probation report indicates is he has no income other than his wife's Social Security. So I can't do better than that. The problem is, by law, the court takes 50% of the restitution amount, so to speak. We don't get 50%, but when monies are paid, 50% of the proceeds are to go to court and the other 50% to the victim. I'm gonna let him pay $250 a month. I'm gonna start that beginning on May the 7th and the 7th of every month thereafter. And you have 21 days to appeal, 14 days to apply for a court-appointed lawyer. Anything else, Mr.
No,
Mohammed?
thank you, Judge.
Anything else, Mr. Carmen?
Nothing, Your Honor. Thank
Any
you.
questions, Mr. Martin?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. Everybody stay seated, please.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed that video, do please take a moment to like, subscribe, and leave a comment on the video. We'd really appreciate that. And if you want to keep the fun going, check out the video on the screen right now.